Today we are going to have a look at a very special sword. Why special? Because the proportions of this blade are truly exceptional. And I can say right away, this is no fantasy sword. The proportions and the shape of the blade have historically been used. However, it is a composition, and by the way, an extremely successful one. The first thing one notices is the proportion of the blade to the handle. With normal handles, one can say that 30 centimeters is not unusual. Of course, the variations are quite wide-ranging here, but with an average of 30 centimeters you're not entirely wrong. Nowadays, for example, handles are around 32 centimeters for tournament faders with a blade length of around 1 meter, commonly a few centimeters more than that. This blade has a handle length of 46 centimeters with a blade length of 96 centimeters. The overall length is immense for a two-handed sword at 142 centimeters. But the proportions are anything but ordinary. Now, of course, the question immediately arises as to whether these proportions are historically accurate at all. Because honestly, I wouldn't look at fantasy swords, nor want to hold them in my hands. But these proportions exist. A sword is exhibited in the German Blade Museum in Solingen, which shows exactly these proportions. A very long handle and a relatively short blade. These proportions were implemented in this creation. The ratio is 5:11, which is almost a third of the length of the handle, which by the way is also often found on late German battle swords. The ratio between grip length and crossguard length is 3:2, a so-called Quint. The blade is a type XVIIIc or 18C. The original did not have these blade proportions, which is why I'm talking about a creation here. The blade has been hollow ground with a 300 radius. As a result, the sharpness of this blade is really excellent. With a total weight of 2,440 grams, the center of gravity is right in front of the guard, which is not particularly surprising given the distribution of mass. What I particularly like about this sword is the dynamics due to this very center of gravity. However, with such a design, the dominance in the bind is often lacking, as that is often achieved by a slight top heaviness for a strong forward drive. But this problem was circumvented by giving the sword a broad, massive blade. With every strike you can feel that this sword breaks through. Every strike cuts, every strike goes through. In addition, there's a really good control of the point. All movements can be carried out at lightning speed and the point can be precisely aligned. Only the overall weight could cause some problems, especially when you suddenly change direction or have to stop hooves, as often happens. Although it is easy to turn at its geometry, it is somewhat sluggish outside of its constructed physics. This chopper is a graceful weapon. The optics alone make the opponent tremble. In all honesty, if I had to fight a serious duel, this sword would be on my shortlist. The composition and proportion and choice of blade harmonizes very well. It's dynamic and agile, strong and dominant. One could say it's a dancing bear. Just don't stumble. If you like this content and you want to see more, like and subscribe. See you next time.